My name is Desmond Connie. A mechanical engineer and a tech entrepreneur. My background is in mechanical engineering. Started Complete Farmer, which is my third startup I'm working on. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. My first startup was started when I graduated from college. It was called Herbidome. Herbidome was a vertical farming system. So we were exploring ways of using vertical farming structures built with local materials to provide vegetables for the local market. My second startup after that was Cybos Technologies. Cybos Technologies developed a portable biogas digester that people could use in their kitchens by putting in organic food waste and getting methane gas for cooking. We exited and sold Cybos Technologies to a Chinese manufacturer. So that was my second startup, and then the third startup is Complete Farmer, which we are currently working on. We've been doing this for 5 years. Complete Farmer is a digital marketplace that enables global commodity buyers, FMCGs, food processors, to be able to build their supply chain and also source their agricultural commodities directly from African farmers. So Complete Farmer basically is a demand-driven platform. So we always start with the buyer. In most cases, when you want to design something for the market, you do your user research and then make sure that you are designing something that users want. However, in farming in Africa, our farmers just grow food and they hope that they find a market for it. And this is basically the beginning of the challenges farmers face in trying to market their goods. So what Complete Farmer does is we start with the demand. We get an order from a buyer, let's say an FMCG company, looking for soybeans to maybe produce baby food. They give us the specifications of the soybean that they want, and then with this information we are able to match the specifications with farmers on the platform. We've onboarded farmers on the platform and we've taken data about their soil and about their farming practices, so we know which farmer is more likely to meet the specifications of the buyer. So we do this matching of specification to farmers, and then the farmers go into production. Before they go into production, we also give them what we call the protocols. The protocols are basically the steps of instructions that a farmer needs to follow to be able to meet the specifications they've been assigned. So the way the protocol works is it takes the initial conditions of the farmer's lands and recommends what activities the farmer needs to do. We've built this protocol from our research fields and also by collecting a lot of data on farming certain crops. So the farmers are more likely than others to be able to meet the specifications of these buyers. Now, having given them the protocols, we need to monitor and see if the farmers are following those protocols. So we have an agronomy team that goes out to the field. We also use satellites to be able to monitor the farms and verify if these farmers are following these protocols. At the end of production, the farmers will then bring their produce that they've harvested to the nearest fulfillment centers. We have fulfillment centers across the country where farmers bring their produce, it gets graded, and the quality gets checked and certified by a third party, and then the buyer has confidence that their specification has been met, and then therefore they can come and pick up the produce that the farmers have grown. And then they arrange payments directly to the farmer. So that's basically how the Complete Farmer platform works in summary. So currently on the platform, we have 8 commodities that we've developed protocols for. So because the protocols are built from research, we don't farm all crops. We've developed 8 protocols that we are very confident can meet market demand, and we keep improving on those 8 protocols. So the 8 protocols include soybeans, includes ginger, sweet potato, chili pepper, cassava, it includes granules, it includes cowpea, and it includes sesame as well. So currently we are expanding. We are expanding across the sub-region. We have farmers in Ghana and in Togo. We are looking to expand into Cote d'Ivoire later parts of this year. We also have plans to start operating in East Africa in the next 2 years as well. I think the key challenge in running a business like Complete Farmer has been talent. Complete Farmer requires a very multidisciplinary team to be able to solve the problem that we are solving. We need agronomists to be working with computer scientists, to be working with supply chain experts, project managers. So getting people who have this skill set and who have experience in agriculture has been quite difficult for the most part. So I think one of the things we've had to emphasize on is learning and getting people who join the team to learn and upskill themselves to be able to contribute to solving the problems that we are solving. I think the other challenge has been capital. Like most African businesses, fundraising fundraising is quite a challenge. So we've been able to grow the business so far with the support of a few investors that we've had. But looking at the demands that we are getting, it would be really great if we could get more capital to basically be able to reach more farmers. So Complete Farmer is a profitable business, so we are able to make sure that we cover our running costs. But we've also had very supportive early investors. We were in the startup incubator in 2017, Meltwater, where we got a lot of support financially and also a lot of business development support to grow the business and build this model as well. We've also had early investors who invested in our seed round to be able to grow to this point. So I think we've had quite the support we need from the MEST ecosystem and also from a few early investors who really believed in what we were doing and supported us. For agriculture, right, given that Africa has a lot of isolated smallholder farming, I think we'll be seeing more models that allow farmers to be competitive and allows their output to be more commercial. And I think technology is basically what's going to enable that. African farmers have suffered low yields, have suffered risks of the weather and farming, and we are seeing technologies now that helps farmers safeguard against those things. I think climate change is one of the biggest concerns for most African farmers. Currently, it's very difficult to predict the seasons, the farming seasons, and so when you look at the challenges in agriculture and the future and the prospect that it has, being that Africa could literally feed the world if we are able to maximize our agriculture output, technology is the only thing that's going to enable that. And we are beginning to see the use of data technologies, machine learning to help farmers make improved decisions. We are beginning to see more precise precision agriculture tools that helps farmers farm in the best way possible or follow good agriculture practices. We are able to use satellite technologies to basically be able to monitor the fields as well. So I really think technology is really what's going to transform African agriculture in the short future. So at Complete Farmer, I always say we are building the Amazon of African agriculture. We've all seen the statistics that Africa has the most arable lands. Africa can feed the world. I think the future for Complete Farmer is to realize this, is to make sure that African farmers are competitive enough to get their produce to wherever people in the world need food. And we are building the infrastructure and the tools to be able to do this. So our main aim is really get to a point where it's easy for a farmer in the village in Togo to sell his produce in the US or in Europe and be able to pay directly and also take out the middlemen in the value chain. So I believe this is the future for Complete Farmer. This is the future that we are building to help ensure food security as well across the globe. I think as an entrepreneur, what I've learned is really the value of learning. I think what I've seen is that learning doesn't stop when you finish school. I've had to basically learn different skill sets. I've seen my team have to upskill to be able to solve certain problems, and I think a lot of people stop learning too early in their careers. And learning isn't always something that's supposed to give you a degree at the end. Learning is really what gives you the experience in the end. So I think one of the values that I've gotten through my entrepreneurial journey is the importance of learning and to keep your team learning and innovating as well. Another thing I've really learned is people and the importance of people along this journey. For some problems that we want to solve, it's not going to be easy to do by yourself, and I think the key thing is being able to identify the right people for the business and the right people with the skill sets to solve these problems. And I think that is very critical. And then when you now get these people, the way you treat them or the way you encourage them to stay and keep focused on the problem is very important. So I would say learning and people are very key to entrepreneurial success as well. I think being a man comes with its own challenges, and we mostly as men do not share enough of what we are going through, and we bottle things up. I think one of the things I've learned as a man along this entrepreneurial journey is really sharing what goes on in the internal and being vulnerable at certain times. I think getting the support to basically be able to chase your dreams, balance your life with work, getting that support and getting a friend or a colleague or a therapist or someone you could share with is very necessary. And I think that is something that also for a lot of men internally stops us from reaching our dreams. I think for many men, the reason why people are not starting what they dream of or the life they want to live is because of things that go on internally. It's mindset, it's our feelings, and sometimes sharing these things gets us to be able to move over the hurdle and just get things started and building the dream and the solutions that we have in our heads. So that would be one advice I leave for men across the continent.